Hi. Thank you. Thank you for being you. And welcome. A question I keep coming back to over and over and over again is, what does it mean to live in harmony? What does it mean to be in harmony with the universe? What does it mean to you to live in harmony? And how do you define harmony? I guess one answer that keeps coming back, one answer that keeps coming up over and over again is to live in a state of non-resistance, to be open to the flow of life and not resist life in any moment. And resistance shows up in all different ways, but so often it shows up as the story we tell ourselves. And that story creates ideas and concepts of how things should be or how things shouldn't be. And we start to judge the present moment. And instead of just letting it be as it is, it's kind of unbelievable how much our stories that we tell ourselves create so much suffering because we stop accepting the present moment and we wish we were over there or back there, anywhere but here. I mean, I've even caught myself out on a walk and I'll be thinking of something that happened in the past or thinking about something of the future, and I catch myself realizing that I'm not here now. Where am I? Where am I? I'm not here. I'm living somewhere that doesn't even exist. So what does it mean to be in harmony? To be in a state of non-resistance, to not resist the present moment, to not create a story about how it should be or shouldn't be, to not try and force it to be something that it's not, to not try and change what's happening right now, because what's happening right now is happening. And I think that these stories that we tell ourselves and our concepts and our ideas and our judgments of how the world should work or shouldn't work, or who deserves what, or what's good or bad, or fair or unfair, right or wrong, it's all just our own projection of our attempt to control life, to give ourselves a feeling of certainty. But what I'm realizing is that true certainty comes from within, and it comes from trusting that when I don't resist life, life takes care of itself. When I'm here now and take the appropriate action in each moment, life just happens. And I don't need it to be any different than it is. And when I can settle into that feeling, things feel peaceful. Things seem to flow. And the more harmonious and easy life feels, it's like the path of least resistance, I guess. And I mean, it's not always easy. I found myself to be so conditioned to telling myself a certain story or believing that things should be a certain way. And it's taken time to bring awareness to these moments, to these thoughts, to these concepts. And it's taken time to come back to that awareness and catch myself whenever it's happening or after it happens. But I guess the key thing is to be willing, being willing to be open, being willing to be open that to the idea that when I argue with reality, I lose 100% of the time. That when I try and change things outside of myself, instead of going inwards and realizing what the story and narrative that I have going on in my head is, that I project everything inside of me outside of myself. And it's these stories and these concepts and these judgments that lead to disruption, that lead to friction and resistance, that lead to struggle and pain. Like I remember last year, I was doing yoga in the morning and my partner came downstairs to the living room where I was doing yoga. And we have one of those open living room kitchen type deals. And he started preparing some food. And I was initially in my mind, I started getting really frustrated. I started feeling aggravated and I started to feel very agitated and angry. And the story I realized I was telling myself was, I need him to be quiet. He shouldn't be down here. He shouldn't be making food now. He should be respecting my space. But the fact of the matter was, he was hungry. He was downstairs. He was making food. And it was only my story about what he should or shouldn't be doing that was creating my own pain and my own suffering. And once that clicked, I realized the only silence that matters is the silence in my mind. So how can I let go of this story? Or how can I be aware that this story isn't actually helping me? And as soon as I brought awareness to that, it just kind of dissolved. I didn't even have to let go of it. It let go of me. And I guess that's part of it too, is that the stories, they come and go. The thoughts, they always come and go. They rise from nothing and they go back to nothing. We don't control that. So all we can control is our attachment to that story and how much we cling and hold on to it. But if a story comes up and we take a deep breath, the story just goes away. Are you willing to live in a more harmonious state? I mean, I think when we live in harmony, we each contribute to that one song, the universe, one song. And each piece of existence is a note of that song. And the more we live in a state of non-resistance, the more we play the harmonious song of the universe, the more we contribute to that. And I think that's so beautiful. I mean, everything is made up of rhythm and vibration. And so are you willing to let go of resistance? Are you willing to go the next 30 minutes, the next hour, the next day, the next afternoon, the next week without resisting what is, without trying to change something or need it to be any different than it is, without creating a story or a narrative of how something should be or how something shouldn't be, but just allowing it to be and then just keep moving forward through that? If you are willing, let me know how it goes, because this is a process that I've been going through, and the more that I do it, the easier life feels. Anyways, thanks for being here, and thanks for listening to me ramble. I would love to know your experience with this and what harmony means to you. So thank you so much for being here, and I love you. But always remember to love yourself the most. Yahoo!